Damas y caballeros, a continuación, Radio Centro FM con el auspicio del Distrito Escolar de Lancaster presentan Creando Familias de Paz con Brother Fran Albright.
Hermano Héctor, muchas gracias. Saludos.
Saludos, brother.
A
Bienvenido.
usted y la familia suya también,
Muchísimas
hermano.
gracias. Gracias.
Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to be with you here again. Isn't it interesting how life is? I was listening to the radio today, and Sister Ada was talking about not, ruining a transaction so that you can buy a house in a good way. Well, I'm going to talk today about not ruining our children so that they have lives that aren't so good, but to try to do all we can as parents to help our children get involved in activities that are positive and not negative. Es interesante. Acabamos de escuchar de Ada hablando de no perjudicar la transición o transacción de comprar una casa. Y yo quiero seguir a Ada hablando de no perjudicar la familia, los niños. ¿Cómo? Es importante tener los niños en actividades después de la escuela de 3 a 6 por la tarde. It's very important. Today we're going to talk about having our children involved in healthy, positive activities between 3 and 6 in the afternoon. Porque cuando yo investigué el tema de hoy, encontré que entre 3 p.m. y 6 p.m. es el tiempo donde los niños hacen cosas criminales. Interesante eso. Y por eso debemos planear muy bien desde que son pequeños para que este tiempo está lleno de cosas buenas. No cosas malas. As I was investigating for this program today, if you Google 3 in the afternoon to 6 in the afternoon, what do kids do? You will find out that it is a high crime time. Our children leave school. If we don't know where they are and what they're doing, they might be doing something that could damage their life in the long run. And that doesn't mean that they're doomed to hell. No. But it means they could commit a crime or even get involved in something like sex without us knowing about it. And they wouldn't plan well. That wouldn't necessarily ruin their life, but it would complicate their life. So the invitation is fantastic here for everyone today to listen carefully what the advantages are of having our children get involved in programs, many of them free, some of them you need to pay for, and if we have the money, we can do that, but programs that are free, that our children can get involved in from primary school, middle school, and high school. Estoy diciendo que hay muchos programas que son gratis. Y si tenemos dinero, podemos pagar dinero para lecciones, por ejemplo, de música y cosas así. Pero muchos programas son gratis. Y debemos tener un plan como padres y madres para ayudar a nuestros hijos a tener una vida llena, abundante, disfrutándose sin químicas, sin marihuana, sin alcohol, sin tener sexo antes de ser adulto, para que no hay niños sin planear bien y no hay enfermedades sexuales tampoco. Kids, as they become young adults, hormones start flowing, they get active, they're exciting, they need some healthy activity. And I'm telling you, my dear friends, it's up to us as parents to lead them, to guide them in ways so that this activity, these juices, are flowing in healthy ways, leading them to lives that they will love. Having children when they are ready to have children and not before they've planned. Entonces la pregunta debe ser, hijo, hija, ¿cuáles son las actividades que usted quiere involucrarse? La pregunta no debe ser, ¿quiere estar involucrado o no? Hay una diferencia muy grande. The question should be, my dear friends, if we want our children to enjoy an abundant life at each stage of life, look forward to waking up, look forward to going to school, look forward to after-school activities, we need to ask this question. Which activities are you going to get involved in? Let's look at the list available from the school, from the community. Which ones are you going to choose? Because as a parent, I want you involved every day in activities. The question should not be, are you going to be involved or not? And unfortunately, way too many of our children in schools are not doing anything after school that is very constructive. And they're spending a lot of time doing things because kids like to do things that are hurting themselves for their future. Desafortunadamente, los niños con mucho tiempo, mucha energía, que no están involucrados en actividades después de escuela, están haciendo cosas que pueden perjudicar sus vidas en el futuro. Bueno, este sábado mi esposa y yo fuimos al centro de Ware por la número 42 North Prince Street, aquí, a ver 3 niños de nuestra iglesia a tocar piano en frente de 100 personas. Por unas 5 horas, alumnos que están tomando lecciones instrumentales o de voz mostraron sus habilidades. Fue espectacular. Cada uno estaba muy orgulloso de enseñar lo que había practicado y aprendido. This past Saturday, my wife and I had bought tickets to go to the Ware Center, the music center downtown at 42 North Prince Street. That building is full of music. 3 young kids, Alejandro, Arturo, and Miranda, from our church, had been practicing piano and were going to play a song in front of 100 or 150 people. They were beautiful. They were wonderful. They were so proud. They were nervous, but they got up and confronted their nervousness. What a beautiful performance that was. And there were another 100 kids that for 5 hours, each child got up and gave a performance. That's because at home, they are practicing. That is an example of something that they're doing. Lo mismo pasa 3 o 4 veces a la semana cada verano en el campo de béisbol, en la liga de salsa, en frente de mi casa. Los niños se emocionan mucho cuando pegan la bola fuerte. Hay mucha alegría en solamente ver a sus hijos disfrutándose. The same thing happens 3 or 4 or 5 times every week in the summer in front of my house, where the salsa baseball diamond is. I hear people yelling and shouting and now getting all excited as they watch their children and other people's children having a great time playing baseball. That means that the kids during the week when they go home are throwing the ball, involved in activities that are healthy, and occupying their time in a way that is moving them towards a bright future. Además de pensar en la alegría, es importante entender que es muy bueno para la mente de cada ser humano estar activo. Si nuestros hijos se involucran en actividades sanas, es más probable que van a evitar los hábitos malos y peligrosos que vienen más tarde en la vida. Besides just simply being happy, it's very important to understand that it's really great for the mind to be occupied. We have a wonderful brain as a human being. And if we are involved in healthy activities, the chances are much higher that we're not going to want to get high with a drug like marijuana, which is a quick high, a chemical high, because I'm not getting enough satisfaction out of life that is natural. La gran mayoría de personas que quieren pelear en la escuela donde estoy yo, que están en mucho drama y conflictos con personas fantásticas, pero no están involucradas en actividades extracurriculares. Los atléticos, las personas que juegan deporte, casi no pelean. ¿Por qué? Porque no quieren estar suspendidos. Están pensando en su futuro, en jugar mañana. Muchas veces creo yo que personas en mucho conflicto, en vez de pensar en su futuro o en una carrera técnica o profesional, están pensando más en su noviazgo o en drama. The great majority of people that I work with at school that want to fight, that are in conflict a lot, that are in drama a lot, don't go to anything after school. In fact, a lot of them think school is boring. Each one of these children is a fantastic child. There are no bad children, but they are not thinking about their future. They're not even thinking about their present and how to continue or start living a better life. Many times they're thinking about, right now, they're thinking about drama, their girlfriend, their boyfriend. They could be thinking about the technical program that they want to go to Thaddeus Stevens or York Technical Institute or, a number of other technical schools. Or they could be thinking about college. Instead, they're thinking about how to satisfy themselves right in the moment, which might be drugs or sex or skipping school. Una de las cosas que ayuda al hijo a evitar el uso de la droga es tener actividades para hacer todos los días. No es una garantía que un joven no va a usar drogas si está involucrado en deportes o artes o un hobby, pero sube la posibilidad de estar libre de un vicio. One of the things that helps children stay away from drugs is if they are involved in healthy activities. It's not a guarantee. Sometimes athletes do get involved with drugs, but it's not the norm. If your child teaches himself to play guitar or herself, by the way, my daughter learned it on the internet. Instead of buying a new cell phone, buy a guitar. Of course, you'd have to have the buy-in from the child, too. Estoy diciendo, si su hijo está involucrado en algo que puede pasar el tiempo, por ejemplo, mi hija aprendió guitarra, como tocar guitarra por internet, un verano que tenía mucho tiempo, hora tras hora, tras hora, tras hora, tras hora, practicando guitarra. I'm encouraging each parent to have a good sit-down talk and negotiate with your child about ways of spending a summer, new things that the child can learn over the summer, ways of spending the afternoon, talking with the school if you're not aware of different activities that the school has, because schools are in the business of educating the complete person. Las escuelas están en el negocio, por decir, de educar la persona completa, no solamente la parte académica. Es para tener ciudadanos sanos que están mirando cómo mejorar el mundo y escoger una carrera que va a ayudar a gente. We are trying as hard as we can in the schools to help the children know how to get along socially, to think about a future, to make plans for a career that would not only help them, but help the world. In the schools, we offer a whole education. Entonces, como padres y madres, ¿qué podemos hacer? Decir a los hijos, mira, tiene que estar involucrado en algo. Yo no quiero verte en la casa, llegando a la casa a ver televisión, a jugar juegos por 3, 4, 5, 6 horas en su celular. Es nuestro trabajo a guiar a los hijos a planear su vida para que viven en plenitud. It is our job as parents, when our children are young, to help them learn how to balance their life so they're not on the cell phone 4 or 5 or 6 hours, so they're not on their computer, on the internet, on sites that are dangerous to them, so that they're not out on the streets hanging out with people who are not thinking about their health and helping the city, doing things that might be illegal. Es nuestro trabajo como padres y madres ayudar a los niños desde primaria a middle school y high school. Porque si no estamos con el dedo en el pulso de ellos, ellos van a estar involucrados en otras cosas que no son buenas. Anoche escuché niños gritando, mi esposa y yo. Y yo puse mi chaqueta y estaban como instigando una pelea. Tenía mi teléfono listo para llamar a 911 y me fui, crucé la calle en Washington Elementary School. Vi un niño que sacó su ropa y tenía como nada en su cuerpo. Y fui a hablar con él. Y pregunté, hermano, ¿cómo te llamas? No voy a decir su nombre, pero voy a decir David. Me llamo David. Hola, David. Yo soy Mr. Albright. ¿Cómo está? Bien. Iba a pelear. Me dijo que si alguien quería pelear conmigo, pero yo diría que no. Mira, era oscuro en la noche. 4 niños allá. Los madres y padres, ¿dónde estaban? Tenemos que saber dónde están nuestros hijos y qué hacen. Last night, it was dark out already, maybe 6:30 or so, 7:30 maybe. And my wife and I heard some yelling of some youth. And it sounded like they were getting ready to fight. And I put my jacket on, my hat, and had my cell phone ready to dial 911 in case there was going to be a fight. And I went over, and the young boy he's about 13 years old, had his shirt off. And it looked like he was going to fight. And I said, "What's going on, my friend? What's your name?" And he gave me his name, but I'm not going to tell you what it was. I'll just call him David. I said, "Hi, David. I'm Brother Albright. It's nice to meet you." I said, "What were you going to do?" He said, "Well, somebody wanted me to fight." And I said, "David, Animals fight. Humans don't fight. He said, I know. And he told me what alternative school he went to because he fought a lot. And I said, well, why don't you just tell yourself you just had your last fight? Get involved in activities and do good things because you're a handsome young man. He said, thank you. And I said, I'll be waiting till you get to McCaskey. I'll have your back at McCaskey for not fighting. Yo le dije que esperaba a él en McCaskey un día porque ahora él está en una escuela alternativa. ¿Por qué estoy hablando de eso? Porque los padres y la madre y padre de él no sabían dónde estaba él y qué estaba haciendo él. Debemos saber dónde están nuestros hijos. Siempre, 24 horas al día. Y ayudarles a involucrarse en actividades sanas. Fue interesante anoche cuando miré, porque yo estaba hablando de eso y fui a mi esposa para preguntarle a una palabra en español. Y ella me dijo que, mira, ¿dónde sacó usted eso? Yo lo vi en internet, le dije. Bueno, debe saber de dónde sacaste eso. Bueno, mi amor, entonces fui otra vez para investigar sobre 3 y 6 p.m. y muchas páginas tienen eso. Y fue unas encuestas y un informe, por ejemplo, en Virginia, coordinaron la policía, coordinaron personas de la universidad, porque tuvieron problemas con los jóvenes entre 3 y 6 p.m., que los padres no sabían dónde estaban. Entonces se organizaron para tener actividades en la comunidad para los niños, para no estar involucrado en la criminalidad. I was doing some investigating on the internet last night, and my wife said, you better know where you get that information. Honey, I do. And as I put in between 3 and 6 in the afternoon, various reports came up, and it wasn't just one, that's talking about that time of the day being a very important time for our children. And we as parents are in charge of knowing what our children are doing and helping them plan activities. Hace 100 años y por toda la eternidad posterior, la vida estaba llena de trabajo solamente para vivir. Las familias de la finca cultivaban vegetales, frutos y carne para comer. No habían tantas tentaciones como las del hoy. I like to think, like, how did people live before us? About 100 years ago, and for all of eternity past, life was full. It kind of was full of just trying to live. And there was some, having fun, but people worked a lot more on the farms. They planted vegetables, their fruit trees. They worked hard to cut wood, for example, and people were just doing good activities, healthy, to make life good. They didn't have quite as many temptations as today. So I'm telling you folks, today we do live in special times. With all this technology, I think we have to ask ourselves the questions, do we need everything that the world says we do? Creo que tenemos que preguntar a nosotros mismos, ¿necesitamos toda la tecnología que el mundo dice que debemos tener? Mis hijas recibieron sus celulares cuando llegaron a la universidad. Antes no. Our daughters received cell phones the day they went to the university because they needed them then. They didn't need them in high school, in middle school, even though most of their friends had them. I said, girls, enjoy yourself. Get involved in activities. Live. Instead of concentrating on a cell phone for many hours a day. Yo le digo a mis niñas, disfrútense en la vida. Escojan actividades para no pasar tanto tiempo mirando a los dedos y un celular. Cada padre y madre puede escoger. Yo no estoy aquí para decirles lo que deben hacer, pero les animo a preguntar a sí mismo, ¿mis hijos están disfrutándose en la vida al máximo, involucrados en actividades sanas y buenas? I'm not here to tell you how you should live your life. I'm here to encourage you to think about the big picture and ask yourself the question if your children in elementary, middle, and high school are really enjoying life. Are they involved in activities that they get excited about and they look forward to? I'm going to continue this theme next week because there's too much I didn't get done saying. Thank you so much for your time today. Gracias por su tiempo hoy. Y muchas gracias porque yo les animo a no ir a la cama enojada o enojado porque uno se levanta en mal genio. Vamos a escuchar a Red Grammar today and talking about being rich, and it's not with money. Thank you and have yourselves a fantastic week. Remember, please don't let the sun go down while you are still angry. Have yourselves a wonderful week.